Welcome back to the F1 Ultimate Career Mode. We are following fictional driver Christian Waters through his F1 career, playing every F1 game from F1 2012 to current. We are nearing the halfway point in the season, so after this race will be the summer break in-game, or in world, I should say. Obviously summer break is where a lot of things happen. We turned down a contract last race, so we had a contract offer from another team. If you haven't checked that out yet, go back and watch it. It was a fairly competitive race where I've settled on a difficulty that sort of strikes a good balance between competitiveness and realism, I guess, and we're able to still pushing hard and things not being too easy. So we're off to the Hungarian Grand Prix this weekend. So Hungary is one of those tracks is really good for sort of driving, not as good for racing, I've found. But we have an R&D objective first up. So as usual, after setting up the car, we're going to do the R&D.
Okay guys, let's get these changes made. Okay, we're going to look at the brake cooling in today's test. Head out and spend less than the target amount on the brakes over the test distance.
So basically the R&D objective was to stay on the racing line 78.8% of the lap, which is pretty easy in Hungary. There's not really like multiple lines you can take on this track. I wasn't really pushing the limits here. I was sort of staying in the middle of the track, but I was trying to guess where the actual virtual line was, because it's not always like the most ideal line that you would take for racing is not actually the line that they necessarily give you in game. So I was just trying to guess like what the game would suggest. But it was pretty easy. We nail it first go, and then go back out onto some softs to do some faster times. We're on the pace in terms of like where our car should be. So long as we're in front of Daniel, that's the most important thing. Given that Christian's already had a contract offer from another team, obviously Red Bull are going to need to think long and hard about whether they keep him here at Toro Rosso or whether they put him in the main team. So that's going to be an interesting point as we skip to qualifying.
A decent 6th place.
Alright, going out for our first time lapping qualifying. I think that I'm pretty much on the pace, and I think we were able to at least get out of Q1 on a set of hards. So that's the first thing I do. I get out and get on the hards and try and set like a decent lap. I bloody stuff it up going into the second sector here, which is quite annoying. But I had been driving well all practice and had hooked the car up pretty well. The Hungarian does sort of suit my driving style, so it's one that I find quite easy to deal with. It's similar to Valencia in that way. Like I don't know what it is, but the corners make sense to me. I don't know how else to explain that, but yeah, coming across the line after our first time lap is not very good. A 1:26.1 is much slower than what we were doing in practice, so I fast forward to see where we end up, and luckily it was well good enough to get into Q2. So I decided in Q2 to just go out again on hards. We've got the pace, we might as well not waste the medium tyres that we have. So a bit of traffic at the start of the lap here, but I'm determined to do a cleaner lap. I think, yeah, 126.1's not very representative even on these tyres. So as we cut later to the lap, it is a better lap, so it's a little bit neater, and I'm not like running stupid wide and losing time. As you can see, like, we're trying to keep it all tucked in, going into the final sector here. And this final corner, like, if you can get it tucked into this apex here and then just boot it out of the corner, you get a really great exit. But it's despite being neat, it's slow. It's like 0.8 slower than what we did in Q1. But even then, it doesn't seem as though we're in danger. But I'm just a little concerned about track evolution, so I just keep a close eye on the times here, just to make sure that things don't change too much. But just in case, I go out on the mediums, see if I can make an impression with them, and we go much faster. 2/10 up in the first sector, keeping it neat here, accelerating early. Like, the grip is amazing on the mediums compared to the hards. Like, you can definitely tie the car up more, and like 2.1 seconds faster at the end of sector 3 as I lock up going into that right hander there, leading to the hairpin as we come up to the final corner, ready to go over the line. And we go fastest coming across the line there, so boding very well for our chances in Q3. This is our first Q3 appearance this season, so yeah, really impressive from Christian. He's really pushing it, but let's see how high we can qualify up. Maybe pole is in order. It was a really clean lap. I was pretty happy with it at the time. As we accelerate across the line here, 1:25.9. I've got room for one more bite at the cherry. There is a bit of track evolution. Webber's just popped through 1:23. Jesus. We have no hope of getting a 1:23.7. I wonder what Vettel's doing. That's crazy. As we go out into our final lap in Q3. So this is our this is our first Q3 qualifying all season, and we want to make a good impression on the team. We said no to an offer from Sauber with the hope that we potentially get looked at for the Red Bull seat for next season. It's a good lap. As we come across the line, it is P2. That is amazing. Really good lap. Definitely well out of position though. There's very little chance that we're going to be able to win the race, or let alone, especially if Webber's doing a 1:23.7. Jesus, it's like 2 and a bit tenths faster than us. Like, yeah, we're no chance. But there's the two Aussies, Christian and Mark. Yeah, it's really cool. Nearly a front row lockout for Red Bull. So I think we've definitely made a case here. Let's see what we can do in the race. As per usual, leaving the strategy as default. There's not really a lot of point in changing it in this game. There's not a very strong strategy variance, unfortunately, in F1 2012, but that's okay. It's funny, I've just been dipping into F1 2013, preparing for the next season, and the handling and the graphics are just so much better. Just one game to the next. It's really, really impressive. So I'm really looking forward to the next season. But cool. As we line up on the front row in the Hungaroring in a Toro Rosso, it is 5 red lights. And away we go. Again, a bloody awful start. We are worse than Webber as Vettel pulls up alongside. We are in between a Mercedes and bloody 4 wide going into T1 there. I'm trying to pick my line really carefully. I don't want to have any contact. But you know, if I could just get my starts right, that'd be a start as we chop the wing off Perez there as he goes for just an overtake. It just doesn't exist. There was no room there at all. I don't know why he did that. I have a peek down Schumacher, but he blocks me off there as I dive down the inside that turns to the outside for this left-hander going up the hill. As we turn in, I'm still tucked behind him. There's not really a way past. Trying my best, obviously, to keep up. I know I've got the pace on this circuit, so it's just a matter of getting up to speed, I guess. We're down to 9th place, which, like, on the face of it, is pretty disappointing, but that is probably where we are in terms of pace. This is probably a bit more realistic, and given how fast they're moving away, we are either the AI have had the most shocking qualifying in history, or we've just had the best qualifying in history. But we were definitely out of position there, so now it's up to us to improve and see if we can claw our way back up the field. Skipping now to the end of lap 3, start of lap 4. We've got Jensen Button trying to go for a move down our inside there, but we're defending like crazy. I still haven't found the pace that I had in practice, but as we move further down the lap and the tyres start coming to me, I'm finding speed finally. It seems to be the case that the Toro Rosso is particularly slow at warming the tyres. For the start of the race, we tend to always be quite slow. I've noticed that is a characteristic of the car, because a lot of the cars around me tend to be able to be on the speed very quickly, and you can see that here as it started lap 5 now. We're catching that pack ahead of us, and we're pulling Button along. He's not like right up my nose, right up my backside as he was before. And you can see now how close we're getting. We can finally see that pack dead ahead. So it looks like it's got Schumacher, Massa, Rosberg, and I believe Fernando's in front of that train there. So it's gonna take some good overtakes to get past all of them. We've got a handful of world champions in there as I just dive down the inside of Schumacher. That move surprised me as well, and it surprised him as he dives off the track. That was not something I was planning to do, but as I was braking normally for that corner, I just caught up with the AI just on speed. So we made it stick, and now we're hunting after Massa. We're up to 8th place now, which is much better. Funnily enough, there's some people coming out of the pits now, and it's Rosberg. Rosberg has pitted for the softs. It's a little bit early, mediums I should say. It's a little bit early for that, I think. He's got to do 12 laps on medium tyres. It's a bit of a stretch. As we push to the start of lap 7 now, still just slowly catching this pack. Schumacher's dropped off. I try to have a look down the inside of Rosberg here, but yeah, just nothing doing there. But I am faster, so it's just a matter of picking my moment. and not losing too much time as I do it, because there's not a lot of, like, we're not doing full races here, we're only doing 20% races, so I don't have a whole heap of time to catch the pack. I've got to move efficiently through the field, so I've got to pick my moment. The chicane is definitely not an overtaking spot. This section I'm quite quick in, so I do catch the AI here as we move ahead to the final corner. It is time for us to box. We got good use out of the tyres. I believe we're the first to box for hards, for those who started on the mediums anyway. We come out in 17th, well behind Hülkenberg and well in front of Kovalainen. The split between the midfield and the back markers is huge back in these days. Like back in 2012, there were definitely 3 tiers of F1. There was the midfield, there was the front runners, and the back, the tail end of the field was definitely a lot slower, like seconds a lap slower. It's nothing like what it is today. After the first round of pit stops, we come out in P10, and then skipping to the start of lap 10. We are basically back in position now, as another gaggle of cars comes out. And Rosberg has pitted again. Maybe he didn't pit the first time. Maybe he was just on the right-hand side there. I'm not sure. It wouldn't make sense for him to pit twice. So, yeah, I was probably wrong that first time. But we're up to P7, so we actually did effectively an undercut, and we didn't really mean to, but it was effective. So I think that there is some strong overlap with the tyres on this particular track. So we're all the way up to P6. At the start of lap 12, there were some more cars coming out of the pits, basically, which was fortuitous for us. But the rest of the race was fairly standard. There wasn't a whole heap of action. I was sort of trapped in this no man's land, ahead of the midfield but behind the front runners, which I guess, like, on pace, on race pace, that's probably about as good as we can do. We're definitely getting the maximum out of the car. Look, maybe if I had had a better start, we would have maybe finished on the podium, but with an 8-second gap to Massa in front and a 1.5-second gap to Rosberg behind, I was breaking the toe with Rosberg behind me, but I wasn't able to catch Massa in front. Like, yeah, it made very clear to me that this is where we were going to finish unless something happened later down the line. Alright, we're on the final lap of the race here, and you can see, yeah, Massa's now a 9.9 second gap to us. The cars that you see directly ahead of us are the back markers I was telling you about. They're going so slow that after 18 laps, I've caught them in a Toro Rosso. So it just goes to show how slow those back marker cars really are. Like, they had no hope of scoring points at all. Like, they would have to be incredibly lucky to score any points, the Marussias and the HRTs particularly. But yeah, that was it. Finishing 6th, although the game pretends it's like a disappointment because they were expecting me to win. I'm pretty happy with that. It is definitely still outperforming the car. Daniel came 16th, so we definitely can't be upset with that. So that's 8 points in the bag for Christian Waters. We were not really super fast consistently throughout the race. That, like, some of the cars behind us that finished behind us were definitely faster on pace, or at least their fastest lap was. And we're still 9th in the standings, but we're now on 64 points. So we're right in the middle of the midfield, basically, performing incredibly well. And we are 6th now in the constructors. We've jumped Sauber. They had a pretty poor showing, to be honest, but Christian is carrying this team in terms of points. So I don't know what Portoros are going to do if they lose him, but we're definitely making a showing here. Well, so now we're going into the summer break. So Belgium happens a month after the race in Hungary. So between then and now, should be interesting to see what happens. We may get another contract offer at Belgium, hopefully. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching this episode. Sorry I wasn't able to upload everything as quickly as I'd liked. I actually came down with a bit of a cold. You might hear it. But yeah, I'm trying my best to get them out as quickly as I can. And I'll see you guys on the next race.